Let's go. Bum, 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 bum. All right, so welcome everyone who's tuning in. This is Table Troops Fireside Chat episode number 2. And we have a third on this episode. I'd like to introduce Sturnzi Gaming.
Hey everyone.
There. So,
Hey.
gentlemen, we're going to be talking about our top 5 favorite games of this console cycle. So just to kind of make that clear, because even we were kind of confused when we first kind of brought up. So basically, the game had to be released, after the PS4 and I guess the Xbox One were originally released. And that's kind of what the category is,
Yeah.
Up until, any
Pretty much now.
recent release. Yeah, pretty much. So we got our top 5 games. So I guess you guys just want to go right into it?
I quit.
Yeah, all right. And chat,
Yeah.
chat, if you want to get involved, definitely send us your top 5s. I also have a couple of honorable mentions as well. So if you have a little extra time, maybe talk about games that maybe didn't quite make the list for us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All
For
right.
sure.
So you guys didn't do games in any particular order. I kind of put mine in an order, kind of in a weird way. So I'm going to start with my
Sure.
number 5, which is probably my most controversial pick. It's going to be Among Us. Now, I have played Among Us with everyone in this chat, and I have to say I absolutely love that game. So for those of you who have somehow not heard of Among Us, it is an imposter game where you all play as like astronauts or whatever they're supposed to be. And one of you is an imposter. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to do all the tasks on a spaceship, but there's one of the players is trying to murder all of you and get away with it too. So once someone finds a dead body, you call a meeting and you say, all right, who was where doing what?
Dead body.
And it becomes this very intricate murder mystery. And I think the reason I go on this is because it's a little bit nostalgic to me, because my favorite board game of all time, which actually I might have actually played with both of you at one point too, which is
Oh,
very
I know what it
strange.
is.
It's a big
I know what it is.
What is it?
The Battlestar Galactica.
Yep, Battlestar Galactica. So, kind of how that game worked and why it reminded me is, if for anyone who's familiar with the show, there are these robots humanity made, but robots were the slaves. They fought back. Humans won. Robots went away. Robots came back looking like people. So how the game worked is you got loyalty cards, and that would tell you if you're a human or a Cylon, and your objectives for the game's changed. But the twist with that game was that halfway through the game, you're given second loyalty cards. So you might start as a human, but you might be a sleeper agent. So Among Us definitely filled that, almost that, I don't know, that detective work, that murder mystery that I have missed from that board game. And we played a little bit of Are You a Werewolf too, which is also another great imposter game. And, it's something I didn't realize that they could fit into a video game. The game's $5 too. That also factored into my decision. The fact that I only paid $5, I probably have 15 or 20 hours on it. Like, how many games can you say I played more hours than I paid for? Which was a factor into my decision as well.
Not a lot, and that's more likely
Yeah.
if it's a party game too.
Right.
Absolutely.
I actually kind of put this. Yeah, dead body. I put this lower on my list because also I feel like it's factored in with the people I play, because we have like our own Discord to play Among Us with, and it's super easy to get games. So I've never had to play with random people really. So that's my number 5. So who wants to go and pitch another game?
You got it, Sturnzi.
Yeah. I'm gonna go. I'll say this is my number 5, and it will be Jedi Fallen Order, the Star Wars game. That story alone was amazing, and I've replayed it about 2 or 3 times already, and I got it on sale for like $25, so it's well worth the money.
So, like, how does it compare to something like what was it? The Force Unleashed?
He died.
Oh no.
Sturnzi, you froze.
Sturnzi.
Oh no.
Dead body.
Dead body. Oh man.
Oh,
So well, that's unfortunate. Oh, there he is.
we go.
You switched cameras. What happened?
I don't like my camera on this one. This makes me look like who is it? That comedian, freaking the creeper.
I know who you're talking
my
about.
computer fried. My computer shut down.
Oh no. Oh no. Well, at least you had the backup.
Yeah, it's
Right.
like, oh, I got
Yeah,
my
that was
camera
so
shut down.
quick.
You could switch right over when it comes
Yeah.
back up. If it comes back up, it never will.
Right. So yeah, how does it compare to Forced Unleashed?
I never really liked the Force Unleashed, to be honest with you. I always I thought that was too like a lot of games on my list are very story driven, and with the Force Unleashed, yeah, it had a good a good story, but I felt like they focused more on the action rather than the story. Whereas I feel like with the Fallen Order, it was very story heavy, and then action second. Even though the action was very freaking hard, I had to put it on story mode a couple of times.
Oh geez.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also that's an EA game, right? Did that actually restore a little bit of faith in you to the company, or did you never drop off of EA? Or
I mean, am I on this one now? Good.
Your video's not on, but yeah.
Fuck. All right. Look, my computer turned back on and already.
It just was like, hey, what's up, bro?
well, now you're a talking
Dude.
skull. You're a talking dead body.
Dead body.
Dead
okay.
body.
That's okay. You get your little emblem up.
Yeah. So
snoozy.
did it redeem EA in your eyes?
Well, to be honest, I've never liked EA at all. But this has just so happened to be an EA game that I like. I'll play EA games, but I won't like it.
I'll do it, but I don't like it.
I'll just be miserable the entire time.
Just like a grumpy old man. Like, "Meh."
I'm having so much fun, but you're like perpetual frown.
Mhm.
All right. Number 5 for you, or first game on the list.
Let's see. I suppose I'll start. Oh, there he is. I'll start it with Resident Evil 7, probably. I mentioned it last week, but it was the first game that I played in VR, like really played, and I did it with obviously PlayStation 5 VR. Bought that. It's like the sole reason I actually bought the PlayStation VR to begin with, for that one game, and it was just scary games have not scared me in a long time up until I got that. And also, I'm kind of a fan of the Resident Evil series. Resident Evil 6 was a big, huge letdown, so this was a nice change, both in like characters, plot line, all that kind of stuff. And it was a beautiful game.
Yeah. So I guess tell me what because I actually haven't played 7, and I think that's probably like my number one game I miss in this console cycle, because I actually love horror games. I do love the Resident Evil series. I beat the number 2 remake in like 2 days.
Oh, wow.
Even though it's not that long of a game.
Wow.
But yeah, so what did they change that you like so much? And do you want number 8 to be kind of the same?
Yeah, absolutely want 8 to be more of the same. It just felt like a little bit of a return to roots with like a slow-paced like puzzles, a small environment. All took place in like the house, basically. Well, I think the house and then the outside, and yeah, just the surrounding area. But it just reminded me of the game's roots.
Yeah, like that throwback to, you're getting chased by zombie dogs, and the entirety of this game takes place in this mansion, and your whole thing is to just explore.
Yep, and it's not always good to just shoot it till it's dead. Sometimes you want to just get out of there.
Right,
Yeah.
and like what an iconic thing in just gaming in general.
So that return to roots combined with the VR to just really mess you up.
So is it worth playing without VR?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I haven't played it without VR.
Well,
I
is
was
it a
just
good
so
game
into
without
it.
the VR?
I'm sure it yeah. I mean, if taking just the story and the gameplay alone, yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I guess I'll give my number 4, which is going to be Warhammer Vermintide 2, a game actually that I also played with you, Billy. I never played this with you, Sturnzi, but we should definitely try it. So it's basically a shameless Left 4 Dead reskin that takes place in the Warhammer fantasy setting. So there's 5 playable characters, and there's a ton of maps. In fact, I think the reason, on top of I just have a great group of friends to play with, is that the updates were just so consistent. So, like, it started with, you're fighting Skaven, and then they added Chaos Marauders and Nurgle, and then they eventually added Beastmen, and they kept adding maps. They kept adding additional classes for the characters. You level up, you switch your weapons. There's strategy behind, picking a poleaxe to a weapon and shield and stuff like that. And you level up, you become stronger, and you kind of work together with your team to come up with the best results. I think my favorite build was the Dwarf Slayer, because there are basically monsters like tanks, like in Left 4 Dead 2, and my dwarf does so much damage, I basically just see red, and I just hack on them, and they die in like 5 seconds. It's beautiful. It fills such a niche role in the team, but it's so good. I forget who you played as, Billy.
Who did I play with? The dude where his base class is like the crazy tall hat and the...
Oh, the Witch Hunter.
Yes, the Witch Hunter.
Yeah. So what was his whole gimmick?
Snippy and British.
Yeah. Well, he was
he had like the pistol shooter and the what do you call it? The rapier, basically.
Yeah, and his whole thing was he could kind of do a pushback to give your team a breather, or if you need to get through a horde or something like that.
Definitely utility, yeah.
Okay. So that's on my list, just on the value of the game, on how much fun I had with my friends, how much I keep going back to it. I probably got the game 2 years ago and I'm still firing it up once in a while.
Nice. I love games like that.
Dude, you should get it. It's super fun. It's super fun.
Buy it right
Just
now.
the Dwarf Slayer alone. I love playing as dwarves.
Oh, yeah. He's got 3 forms. His first form's Ranger, which is kind of like a shooty class. He's like shooty support. Yeah? Then I think you hit level 10, you become an Iron Breaker, where you're basically a tank.
Oh, nice.
And then your third one is you become a Slayer, where you just deal damage and you have no armor. So you're just your little, dwarven loincloth is floating in the wind as you're jumping around and just killing guys.
If we played together, I would just be screaming Gimli quotes the whole time. Moria.
Right, and you'd be picking up a bunch of new ones, because the party banter in that game is actually pretty good too. I really like the back and forth between the party members. My favorite is actually the wizard. I think her name is Sierra or Sienna, and she's like a 50-year-old fire wizard, and she just makes menopause puns the entire time.
Oh yeah.
She's like, oh, hot flashes.
That's fantastic. That's awesome.
It's such a good game. If you and your friends, if you and your team or whatever are looking for a great co-op game that you can really sink your teeth into, Warhammer Vermintide 2. Absolutely get it.
Absolutely.
All right, Sturnzi, what's next on your list?
Next on my list, I am coming in for me. This game, I don't know if a lot of people have played it, but I fucking love it. It's called Blair Witch.
Okay.
It's made by the same people who made Layers of Fear, and it's a psychological horror game. So what happens is you are this guy named Ellis, and you have your dog, you have PTSD, you're a former policeman, and you join this manhunt in the woods. And what happens is you get lost in the woods and some crazy shit starts going down. and if your dog gets too far away from you, the crazier you get, so the crazier shit happens. So in the outcome of the game, the whole outcome of the game at the ending, there's 4 different endings, and it all depends on how well or how bad you treated your dog.
Nobody would think that, right? They'd think, if I
I
solve
didn't
these
think
puzzles right, I'll do it. No.
I mean, I would love my dog forever. Why would you ever not be nice to the dog? So there's only one ending in the game.
Yeah. I've only gotten one ending too, and it's because I love my dog.
No, it's interesting you say that, because that's actually been an option for me on Xbox Game Pass. It's one of the free games you can get on it. So would you recommend it? Yeah, how many hours?
I beat it in about was it 4.5 hours? But it could definitely take a lot longer. I definitely didn't do everything. I missed a lot, which it's very easy to do because you're lost in the woods. There could be a bunker somewhere that you could break into, and like that will clue you in on the person that you're trying to find.
So one of my favorite games that is psychological, and I mentioned in the last Fireside chat, was Eternal Darkness. I'm sure you played that. So when you say psychological shit happens to you, on a scale of 1 to Eternal Darkness, how bad is it?
I would say it's not like game breaking. Like, you're not going to get that blue screen saying that there was a memory error. It's not going to say
deleting your whole memory card.
Exactly. You're not going to get stuff like that, but you're going to think you're running in circles.
Okay.
And stuff like that. So like you could be going the right way, but it's just going to fuck with you because everything looks the same and stuff, and like it'll flashback you to other things. Also, you have flashbacks.
Oh, okay.
Because you have PTSD.
Yep.
Nice.
Okay. All right. So I'll definitely have to check that out, because like I said, I think it's one of the free options on Game Pass. So
it is. And also it kind of reminded me a little bit of Alan Wake. I don't know if you've ever played that.
I've never played Alan Wake either.
Yeah, that's a horror game, but that one's more like you could do more things in this game. And like most of the games on my list, I think only 2 games on my list you can actually do something. Everything else is just you're walking around trying to solve puzzles.
Right. Right. Yeah. Okay, so you're number 4, your second choice, Mr. Billiam.
Oh boy. Okay. So I'm looking at my list. Probably Battlefield 4. Yeah, Battlefield 4. That one was so it's a little bit of a cheat. It came out about 15 days before PlayStation 5.
Okay.
However, it was definitely intended to be for that system, because when it initially launched on PS3, you could see like 2 feet in front of your face. The amount of people on your team was like half of its maximum potential, because they're just like, let's get it on there, I guess. So to me,
it's kind of like Destiny and GTA, right?
Yeah. Well, even a step beyond that, but to me, it was definitely intended as a PS5, Xbox One era type of game. But that one, I mean, Battlefield has always been really big for me. But it was just like a great introduction to the new console. The graphics were beautiful, huge teams, huge maps, destructible everything. There's one map, in fact, in multiplayer where there's this huge tower, and you go up into it, you take an elevator to the top, and you can battle on the roof. But also there's these support pillars at the bottom of it, where if you're in a tank or a helicopter and you shoot those pillars enough, the whole tower comes down. And skyscraper.
Dude,
we're talking like,
man,
that must have blown everyone's mind.
It blew my mind. It was such a crazy endeavor, because you're used to the Battlefield maps with like a house that the wall can come off. Oh shit! But like a whole skyscraper coming down, killing everyone within the vicinity. It's just amazing. If you knew that it was going down, you heard like creaking, and you're on the roof, you could like ahead of time just jump off the roof, parachute down, and just watch it go down behind you, and it's just like very jarring.
I was there,
man. But I mean, it's always been a favorite title of mine, just in the shooter genre because of the expansive maps, destructible terrain, the use of vehicles, and it's just up there.
So, how many Battlefields have there been since that one?
Well, actually, so after that one, they came out with Hardline, which was a weird attempt at like a cops versus robbers. It played okay. It's just the concept wasn't as fun. And then they went to Battlefield 1, which was a World War One Battlefield. That one was okay. And then most recently, Battlefield 5. They're pulling an Xbox with jumping around with the numbers. And that one's based in World War II, and that one's pretty decent. But I'm partial to the modern warfare type of situation where you can have like the helicopters and the really advanced type of weaponry.
Okay, so would you say that was the pinnacle of shooters for that for this console cycle?
For me, it was. We have to take into account here that these are our personal favorites. We're not professional reviewers. We haven't played every game that's out there.
No, but I know you play a lot of the newer shooters.
Yeah, to me, it just holds a special place. Sure, there's other shooters out there that have been more graphically impressive, because that was, at the beginning of the console, so they didn't quite have all the techniques that they have now. But yeah, to me, it's my favorite.
I've always preferred the Battlefield over the modern the Call of Duties.
Yeah,
personally.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big, online shooter person, but yeah, me too. Even with Battlefield 2, like, I think it was Battlefield 2, or maybe it was 3, after playing...
Was it a Modern Warfare type of deal, or was it
it was Modern Warfare.
Okay, so Battlefield 3 then, probably.
Yeah.
Or it could have been one of the Bad Companies.
No, it wasn't Bad Company, because Bad Company that actually had, like, a good campaign, right?
It had a comedy-based campaign, which I loved.
You're basically a Suicide Squad, right?
Yeah.
You're the chaff.
Yeah. Loved that. Loved Bad Company, but that's PS3 era.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go into my number 3, which, talking about non-impressive graphics, is Life is Strange. Now, has anyone actually played the original Life is Strange?
So I've heard a lot about it, and I've wanted to play it, but I've never gotten around to it. But I've only heard good things, and that it's a little bit fucky.
Yes, and I love games. You once in a while you see a movie, you watch a TV show, read a book, read a comic, and do you feel you walked out a different person? Like you've obtained something through the narrative that you're going to change in your life.
Yep.
And that was what the narrative to Life is Strange is with me. Now, I'm not going to give away the big spoiler or twist at the end, but essentially it's a puzzle kind of choose your own adventure. There's no real way to like lose or die. And that's primarily because Max, the main character, she can travel back in time, but like only 15 seconds or something like that.
Oh, so you basically travel back, make a different choice. And that's how they
Correct.
made it.
You've already piqued my interest.
It's super cheap too. Each episode's about as long as a movie. There's 5 of them, so it'll take you about 8 to 10 hours to beat. So the whole thing is Max obtains these powers because something happened that wasn't supposed to happen in the space-time continuum, and she learns that if she doesn't figure this out, a freak storm is going to just wipe out her town and kill everyone in it.
Oh, that sounds normal.
So the whole thing is trying to figure that out, and there are some goddamn clever puzzles. So there's one where you're trying to break into a principal's office. The door is locked, you don't have a key. And it took me forever. I was literally sitting at this puzzle for probably about an hour, like walked away, made dinner, like sit on it. I'm like, how does this work? But what you do is you actually make an explosive in the chem lab, you blow up the door, walk through the door, go back in time so the door heals, and then you just unlock it for your friend. on the other side.
What? What?
Yeah, it's so like
So
literally
it's
your
not
friend
totally like back in time, back to where you were standing. It's like you
literally
reverse the world around
reversing
you.
time. Yeah, you're reversing time.
Yeah, but only around you. It's not you yourself
Right.
that's reversing as well.
Right, and the end choice is probably one of the most controversial.
I've
choices.
heard about it.
I'm not gonna
We're
tell
not
you.
going to spoil it, but damn.
Right, but it's a lot of people are upset. They're like, "Oh, it's very one-sided," but it's really not. And if anybody wants to play it, and if anybody wants to talk about it, I am so open to it. It is a fantastic game that will make you appreciate life a little more. I think because life is very strange.
Life
Is
is
that
strange.
one on the Xbox Pass as well?
It is literally on every single thing. You can get it for your iPad if you
It's
want.
been out for a while now too, so
2015, yeah.
yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna check that out.
So tell you what, I'll stream Blair Witch. You stream Life is Strange, and
Absolutely.
we'll make
I'll
a
do
deal there. All right, so your go for your third game.
And I will-
soul to the devil. My third game, I really love this game. I haven't beaten it yet,
Boom.
but I love playing it. It's called Kingdom Come Deliverance, and if you like RPGs, this is an amazing RPG. It's everything that an RPG should be. So the game mechanic is you're a blacksmith apprentice, and you don't know shit. You can't even know how to read. And
Okay.
you have to learn everything.
Oof.
Like, if you get into a sword fight at the beginning of the game,
You die.
you're gonna die because you have no armor, you have no skill. You're just gonna die. And the sword fighting itself, you have to learn it because it's very difficult.
Okay.
It's a weird mechanic that I've never seen in any other game before. But it's good. It's good because it balances it out. And if you come across a group of knights and you're by yourself, you're not going to win. You just run, you know?
So it's incredibly realistic.
100% realistic, yeah. I would say 80% realistic.
So how do you
because
learn to
obviously
read?
You have to go to
School.
there's a village up north, and you have to go to that village, and you go to the a bookmaker or whatever. I forget the name of it. Begins with an S. A scribe, I think. Yeah, scribe. Yeah, you go to the scribe in this village, and he teaches you how to read. You can get drunk with a priest and have a crazy night, and the priests back then fuck a lot.
Oh, I always say that monks were the greatest drunkards in history.
Absolutely.
You know, that's why if you're like, man, I want to try a new beer, I want something good and intense, you buy something with a monk on it.
Yep, absolutely. And that is available on all systems, on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. It's on the Game Pass, so if you have it, definitely give it a shot. I've never looked back, and I play it all the time. When I'm not streaming, I play it all the time.
Nice. All right. So, Billy, do you want to do your third?
Yeah. Let's see. Which one should I name next? I would say, kind of bridging from the shooter into the RPG. I would say that, and this one's interesting because it's the Division, but also kind of the Division 2, because they're very similar and they're pretty much the same game, continuation of the same story. So I love the concept of the Division. It's one of those Tom Clancy ones where it's like, here's something, and military, and then this special group. But
military action.
military action. But also, even now, because it's based around a virus breaking out and just like wiping things out, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of like
That's
what's going on out
relevant.
there. It's relevant. I can identify now. But it's a very fun game. Takes place, at least the first one takes place in New York City, and you're a member of the Division, who's going in there to basically kind of put the government back together. make things back in order, because there's a bunch of like factions that have emerged of just gangs turning into militia, turning into just bad people, fucking shit up. It's very open world. It has multiplayer in it, so you can run into other players, either alongside or against. The RPG elements are in there, so you can level up your character. You get increased stats through better gear, so better, weapons, armor, things like that. You have special abilities like little drones you can send around corners and do things. And yeah, it's a lot to do.
Yeah, actually, it's interesting because I feel like not too long ago I was talking about, hey, do you want to play The Division?
You did say that a little while ago.
And I wanted to try it for a while.
Yeah, I still have it. Didn't go away. It is a good
great
game.
Yeah, do you have it for PlayStation?
I have it for PC.
Okay,
yeah, PC.
That's probably my preferred way to play. Yeah, I definitely want to try that too, because it always, a lot of people have only said good things about it. It might not be like their everyday game, and I'm going to be talking about what an everyday game is at my number one.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, there really haven't been a ton of really MMOs that grabbed my attention recently, so it's just like a co-op RPG is kind of the best thing I can get.
The closest you'll get, yeah.
Right. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna do my number 2. So in similar vein, with Life is Strange, where I'm like, I walked away with more knowledge, more insight, more, I guess, just overall, like, they take, so my number 2 is Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. I talked about this in Fireside chat. So Sturnzi, this might fall into the horror realm. So, and let me tell you, this is probably one of the best games I have ever played, period. And this is going to be a hill I die on. I can't imagine this going off my top 5 overall in existence for a long time.
Now tell us why.
So, I will tell you why. So, the main character is a woman named Senua. She is a Pictish woman. So the Picts were a tribe in Ireland who got raided by the Vikings. And the Vikings were absolutely ruthless to the Picts. So Senua suffers from psychosis, which we all know as a real mental disorder. And the game very tastefully represents it. And you play as this character with psychosis through this whole adventure. And it comes into play a lot. So basically, her story is, in spoilers to an extent, I'm not going to spoil the ending or anything. She goes on, she basically, I forget if she self-exiles or the village exiles her to basically go re in touch with nature to get rid of the harpies. And she comes back to her village. She finds everyone killed and her lover blood-eagled, which is the most extreme form of torture the Vikings did. If anyone's ever watched Midsummer, you know what blood-eagled is.
No.
So she ends up taking the head of her dead lover, wrapping it on a bag, tying it to her waist, and she goes on a journey to kill Hela, the god of death.
Okay.
And yeah, so you have to wear this game with headphones. You can't play this game with speakers because you got to hear the voices in your head. And some of the voices are good, some of the voices are bad. And you can, if you're stuck on a puzzle, the voices will help you. And again, just as someone who's worked in the mental health field and someone who has worked with people with psychosis, again, I just can't, and I'm probably super biased on my opinion of this game. It is so tastefully done how they do it. I've watched a making of documentary where they explain all their research and all that, and people with psychosis actually helped to make the game. They helped to make the puzzles. Yeah. And they would not release the game until they got the seal of their approval.
So you're definitely not biased. You just can identify better with it, and that's why it's in your top 5.
Right. And there's a couple of there's also a catch in the game too. So when you die the first time, which you're forced to die at one point early in the game, you start getting this black rot on your hand, and every time you fail, it creeps up your arm, and if it reaches your brain, you die.
Like die.
And the journey's over.
Oh wow! So there is like a game over, basically.
And I have to say, I know Sturnzi, you said that you love a narrative-heavy game. When was
absolutely.
the last time you really played a game and there was a hurdle and you felt so bad for your character, you were kind of like, no, we have to see this through. We have to do this.
Blair Witch.
Yeah. Like, that's the thing. I got stuck on this one part. You fight the beast, which is probably one of the most intense parts of the game. You basically you can't stay in darkness or the beast gets you. And basically you never see the beast. You fall down onto the ground. You have like a spasm and a seizure. The voices and the noise is just like after I died in that part like 3 times, I had to put down my headset and I had to like watch like Ugly Delicious on Netflix for an hour before I could even do it again.
You had to do the PewDiePie thing and Google kittens and look at them.
Oh jeez! Oh my god! I mean, practically, and it's one of the best games. The ending is very complex. I don't expect everyone to like the ending. Personally, I thought it fits the character, and the sequel should be out actually next month, and I am so excited.
Oh, really?
So I gotta play it before next month.
Yep. The whole adventure probably takes you about 12 to 15 hours, I'd say.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah. So I highly recommend it to anyone who's interested in mental health, understanding better, all that, and it's a work of art. There's so much controversy as video games art. If I had to pick a game, that's it.
Nice.
That was a solid choice. All
All right, number 2, Sturnzi. Or actually, well, before you begin, let's give a shout out to is it Praelorian? Is that how you say it?
Praetorian.
Oh yeah, Praelorian.
So I'll give a shout out to their top 5. Bloodborne at number 1. I suck at Bloodborne, but it seems like it's fun. Number 2, For Honor. I played a little bit of For Honor. It's kind of an interesting, almost like
it's like a 3v3 kind of thing.
Yeah, it's almost like a weird kind of Dota kind of fighting game.
I own it, but I've been too afraid to play it because I guess the curve on it is pretty crazy.
Oh, it's
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I played against bots and I played some of the campaign. Not my thing, but I understand why people would love it. And I mean, I'm a big fan of like medieval combat and stuff like that, and they kind of do their best to do all the kind of intricacies of stances and attacking and counterattacking, parrying, and all that. Number 3 is Battlefield 1.
Yep.
Oh,
Battlefield
yeah,
1.
that's the World War I one, right?
Yep, that's the World War I one. That had
Yep.
horses. It had horses. That was pretty boss. I love that.
That was actually, I think, the last big war where that people used horses.
Oh yeah, yeah, and they had zeppelins.
They did.
Giant zeppelins.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Actually, number 4 is The Division 2.
Yep, that was on my list.
And then Titanfall 2. So I never played Titanfall 2.
I haven't played Titanfall 1. I own Titanfall 2, but I haven't played it yet. I'm gonna have to play it.
That's like giant robots, but like you have to get out and find another robot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like Robotech on steroids.
Yeah. Jimbra posted his top 5 as well. A couple of repeats in there. It's just above my hypes.
So Jimbra, he got Titanfall 2.
Yep.
So it's a repeat right there. He's got Rocket League for his number 4.
It's popular for a lot of
that's
people.
That's a great game. And that's free right now. So
is it free?
On Epic Games, I believe. So your return on investment right there is infinite.
100%.
Right. Breath of the Wild is number 3.
Oh yeah,
great game. I never finished it. I'm actually a little sad
Neither.
when I made this list that technically like a Switch exclusive, wasn't even kind of in my contender list.
Yeah.
I wanted to say like the new Mario All Stars, but I was like, those are 3 old games. I can't say that.
I mean, if
Yeah.
they're remastered, maybe if they're done well enough.
Yeah.
If they add something. Number 2 was Battlefield 1. So a lot of people thinking Battlefield 1 over
4, yeah.
Battlefield 4. And then number 1 is Stardew Valley. So honestly, that tells me that Jimbra is just a chill dude.
Jimbra is a
He
chill
actually
dude.
is. He is a real chill dude.
Like, he just wants to farm shit, and that's I can get behind that, you know.
Yeah.
There's so much, you know, awful stuff that's happening in the world. I can respect someone who just can't wait to get on Steam and just like farm cabbages.
Battlefield
That's
1
awesome.
had Star Wars Battlefront in it. BE, it's beta, and it's beta. I think you mean in its beta server. What BE? It's
Battlefield
beta
1
server.
had Battlefront B its beta server. So Star Wars used Battlefield as its beta server.
Okay, so it was like a
okay.
reskin kind of thing, and then I tweak
Yeah.
it from there.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. Okay.
I think that's what he's trying to say. I got you.
Close enough.
I got you, Jimbra.
So
All
where
right,
were we? Sturnzi, right?
Yeah, Sturnzi was doing his number 2 or second to last.
This game is fantastic, and if you ever get a chance to play it, it's also on the Xbox Game Pass. It's called Outlast. It is one
Oh,
of
I
these.
played Outlast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the scariest games I've played. In terms of atmosphere, like if you really immerse yourself while playing this game, you're gonna get scared because you're in an insane asylum where horrible experiments were going on. These people are not normal people, because they've had their brains tampered with.
Right.
You can't attack. All you could do is run, and all you have is a video camera to go around and explore and record and document everything that you're seeing, because you are a reporter trying to uncover what's going on at this insane asylum.
Right. I was gonna say the gimmick I remember is the video camera.
Yeah.
Because in the dark scenes you can only see through
Yeah.
night vision.
Not having
And
a weapon, man.
Yep.
That's what got me through Resident Evil 7, having a gun.
Yeah,
You can't scare me if I can shoot it.
that's sometimes my complaint about horror games is when I start to feel too powerful. Like, I love Dead Space. Dead Space is a game that should be remembered, but once you upgrade that line gun, man, like what stopped you? What
Nothing.
stopped you?
Yeah. One thing I will say is if you don't find batteries, because you have a limited supply of batteries for your
that's right.
camera. If you don't find them, you're fucked. You're going through this thing dark. You're going dark, baby.
So, I guess my next question: why Outlast 1 over Outlast 2?
I haven't played Outlast 2.
Oh, but it's on your top list, so I imagine it would be like super high priority.
I am gonna play it.
He's too afraid to
Alright.
play the second one after going through the first one. At least the first one, he knows what to expect now.
I'm waiting for some of that knowledge to disappear, so when I play the second one, I can re-pee my pants.
Oh, excellent! Yeah, I mean, I'm
Do you
I'm
own it
super
yet?
ready.
What?
Do you own Outlast 2 yet? Or you just haven't?
Yes, I have it. Yeah,
Okay.
I do own
Just
it.
haven't hit that
Oh
button.
man, we gotta start making a pact here to finish the games we need to finish. So I have Blair Witch. Sturnzi needs to do Life is You got to pick one: Life is Strange or Senua's Sacrifice.
I'm gonna go with Life is Strange because that seemed pretty interesting, and I think I own it.
Okay.
It's on the Game Pass, I think. I thought I saw
Is it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I will 100% watch you play Life is Strange. So please tailor to my schedule in which I
Yeah.
can view it. But it's I guarantee, like, you're just gonna. I don't know if you smoke cigarettes, but after you're gonna need a cigarette.
Awesome.
Or like 6.
Those are the games I love.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, man, I remember. So there's one part in the game that's like so tragic, and or something so bad was going to happen. I remember because you have unlimited time to make your choices, and I just remember sitting there for 15 minutes, just thinking about the choice I'm about to make, and I didn't make the right one. And I remember Nicole asking me if I was okay. She's like, "It's just a game." I'm like, "But it's not."
So, are you like me and you stick with the choice you made?
Oh
and you
yeah,
don't
no,
go back?
I never
don't go back.
backtrack.
Yeah.
The only game I probably do that with is Fire Emblem, but the newer ones are so much nicer to you. But so I don't really do that anymore. All right, so Billy, you're number 2.
Right, I have more. I'm sorry, I was so enthralled with what you were talking about. I'm gonna say the Final Fantasy VII remake.
Interesting. So tell me why.
Hype, man. They announced it. I was super pumped about it. I played the classic. It was so good. And then finally they came out with it. My one disappointment is that it's not a complete game. It goes up until the point where you leave Midgar, and then they're like, okay, that's all we got for now.
Disc 1.
Yeah, disc 1. Quite literally. But that's not a terrible thing at the same time, because that just means that you're going to have like a whole bunch of more content coming out.
You basically have to pay $240 for a 60-hour game.
But I think they recreated it pretty faithfully and expanded on it and made it fresh all of these things at the same time to make it really enjoyable. And I don't know, it's just really fantastically done. I sat there and played it for like 2 days straight, just getting every little nook and cranny out of it.
Did you become like a 10-year-old again? Like playing it
I did. And that's hard to do at 36 years old.
Nostalgia is a weapon. Nostalgia is a hell of a weapon. But see, I played the demo of it, and I played the newer combat. And honestly, I hated it.
Okay. It does take a little initial adjustment, but once you learn it and you come to terms with it, it's actually a pretty decent system.
I don't know, because
it's not the classic. I know.
I want to retry it and play the classic mode to see if it's any better.
It's not. It's exactly the same as there is no classic mode. It's not.
Oh, well, I'm probably never going to play it then, because when I think of Final Fantasy, I think of strategic choices and not hitting the square button until bad people go away.
That's fine.
You know what I mean?
That's kind of what helped make it fresh for me, though, is the active combat system and running around. I liked it. Personal choice. Yeah. I don't know. Oh man, Jimbra, thank you for the gift subs.
Oh, thanks so much, dude. That super appreciate it. I mean, I would love to discuss the Final Fantasy VII remake, because I think I love Final Fantasy way more than you, and it's interesting that made your list, and I'm like, I don't want anything to do with it.
Well, we're done
mind
here.
if I run to the bathroom real quick?
Yeah, we can take a 5-minute break. This is perfect time to go to our number ones. We come back and we tell our top.
Number ones are coming up, everyone. Stay tuned.
I will be right back. 100%. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting to reflect things that have happened in the last 7 years, right?
I know, right? It's crazy. Like I was thinking of all the games that have come out, and I'm like, there's a lot.
See, I'm the opposite. I'm like, there isn't a ton to choose from.
Well, I mean, I didn't want to choose like Dead by Daylight, PUBG, Warzone, or anything like that.
I mean, if you liked them, definitely pick them. You know what I mean? I think there's a case for it, especially with like PUBG and just, you know, the explosion of esports. Like literally Bob Kraft brought a you know, like he bought an Overwatch team. Like that's no minor player buying an esports team, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like
Bob Kraft is basically like the Rockefeller of New England.
He is.
Yeah,
I don't know, like, cause like I wanted to say Phasmophobia as well, but then I was like,
it's too fresh. It's too fresh.
It's too fresh, exactly. I was like,
but I mean, I added Among Us, and I feel like I made a decent case for it.
Oh, you did. That game's awesome.
It is, and everyone should be playing it.
100% of the time, all the time.
There's gonna be
You're not
burnout on that
playing
game. Huge burnout.
You gotta.
Thanks, Sturnzi Gaming, for your gift. What happened? What'd you do?
What did I do?
Mariah says, "I like Sims 4."
It was one of the gift subs.
Honestly, I have a feeling if I were to play The Sims again, I'd actually probably super enjoy it, but I'd be really weird about it.
Yep.
Like, it's one of those games I wouldn't play as intended, like you're trying to be successful.
I would try and break it. I would lock my guy in a room and I would invite people over and I'd be like, "You live with me now."
Oh no.
Yeah, like, can you still kill people by removing the ladder from the pool, or have they evolved in intelligence?
They might have.
I don't know. I feel like that's a poor change. If so, we should be able to take the doors out and kill them slowly, very slowly.
Just basically make it solve a game.
I want to play a game.
I want to play. Yeah, you do that better than I do, man. I can't do that.
We're in a room with no fridge or toilet. No
What do you
window.
do? I poop the ground.
No window, just your baby in its crib.
There's a nest of flies on the counter, and you have to stare at it all the time and complain about it with squigglies above your head.
Did you see? I forget what group did, but they made a fake Sims movie trailer.
Oh, I've seen that.
I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that being particularly funny. All right, are we
We're
going back?
We've been back.
Oh jeez! Oh god! Oh god! All right.
I never muted the audio
need to hear,
either.
folks.
All right. So my number one. It is a game that I am looking at now. I approximately have 1,100.3 hours of it on Steam. It is for every console. It's for Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. It is Sid Meier's Civilization 6. Now,
Wow.
is anyone familiar with Civilization and the rabbit hole of that game?
You introduced me to it, and I did not run.
I didn't have enough time. I didn't have enough time to explain to you how the game
It
works.
seems like a fascinating game.
It's like if people are like, "Oh, I want to play Civ 6," I would be like, "How much time you got?" So basically, the game works like this. It's a strategy.
Oh, Praetorian knows about it.
Oh, Victorian.
Praetorian.
Yeah. Oh, Praetorian. Yeah, cool. Who's your favorite Civ? I would love to know. I'm an Eleanor of Aquitaine man myself. France version. So basically, you pick a civilization. So based on the civilization you pick, there's going to be a leader attached to it. So, for example, America gets Teddy Roosevelt. But there's actually like two versions of Teddy Roosevelt now. There's him as a politician, and then there's him as a Rough Rider. So basically, based on who you pick, that will determine your strengths and weaknesses and how you win. So there's 5 ways to win the game. You win through global domination, which you conquer the capitals of all the other players. You don't have to take over all the territories, just their capitals. Mm-hmm. You have to win a cultural victory, which is my preferred way. You basically have to get more tourists than any other civilization. You can win a science victory. The first civilization to terraform and colonate another planet gets a science victory. Religious victory, have the majority of the world follow the religion you founded. And then they added most recently a diplomatic victory, where basically you win
by
in
not
Congress
pissing people off,
and you Game of Thrones your way into victory.
Oh, dude, I don't know about that.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So, well, here's where it gets crazy. You start in the goddamn caveman age. It's literally just like settlers, and you have dudes with sticks that hit other dudes with sticks. And based on kind of where you settle, what you choose your upgrades to be determines your civilization. And you obviously meet the other civilizations who are completely random. So you might be like, all right, I'm going to start as France or whatever. It's like, oh, I met America. I met the Kree Empire, I met the Byzantine Empire, and fuck it, let's just add the Maori, right? Like and all these civs have their own way of winning. Certain people are better at other ways. And you basically progress through time, even past the modern time. You can go into the future time kind of thing. And it's just so... It's a game that makes you feel smart. It's one of those games, if you were to just buy it now and just start dicking around, the tutorial for that game sucks ass. And that's probably the one downside of it, is it teaches you pretty much nothing. A lot of it is just playing on easier difficulties, learning what you're doing right, learning what you're doing wrong. And yeah, it's like, man, I can't just explain how intense, how many hours of joy because I don't know if either of you are really big like old school RTS fans, like Command and Conquer, Age of Empires, even Warcraft.
Shogun.
Well, Total War is kind of a different is Total War and Civilization I see as two very different games. But my favorite part about kind of those Age of Empires, Warcraft games is I liked the empire building.
Yeah.
Right, it was fun kind of building your farms, making them look nice, making them, make sense to where, the granaries and the town centers were and all that. That was the thing I liked, but there was still only one way to win Age of Empires, and that's to destroy the other team.
Yeah.
This one, you are still, you can do it kind of the way you want. I personally always play peaceful games. And I think one thing that is almost a little therapeutic is just signing into this game, starting a new game, making a human history where, people don't have to die. There's no bloodshed or violence. I just like to build museums and match my paintings to get maximum, culture bonuses. And, there's so much I could say about this game, but I could literally rant forever.
Yeah.
About how much I love it.
I love games like that where you can have like an economic victory or like a wonder victory or something.
Yeah. So
Scythe.
Yeah, honestly, well, we were talking about doing a studio to do a play along, and I would love to do Scythe. And Sturnzi, I would love to invite you to play Scythe, which is kind of one of the more popular board games right now.
Okay.
Scythe is very similar to the spirit of Civilization. I think there is actually a Civilization board game, but it's a lot of work. I wouldn't recommend it unless you're willing to put like at least 10 hours just to learning the game and still learn. Like literally, again, I will say how many hours I have in it. 1,100.3, and I still suck at the game. You know what I mean? Like I
have 1,000 hours and I have nothing to show for it.
Well,
but I love it so much.
There's so
Sounds
many
like
rules.
a bad marriage.
I have beat the game on I think almost the highest difficulty, but like that's like
you're good.
Yeah, but I don't enjoy it. Like I just do it for the sake of the challenge, right? I typically play on Prince, which I think is like everyone's on level playing field.
Praetorian says, "Have you seen Iron Harvest?"
Iron Harvest, yes, that is the prequel to Scythe, actually, and I'm probably going to buy that when it comes out. Or I don't know if it's out, actually. I have no idea.
Okay.
All right. So, Sturnzi, your number one or your last game?
My number one, very controversial. It's not even a game.
What?
It was a demo. It's called Playable Teaser. It was PT, the Silent Hills playable trailer.
Ooh, very infamous.
Very scary. I still have it on my PS4.
You better explain this for like 10 minutes how this is even
He's going to
possible.
have to because you can't get it anymore. They pulled it from
pulled
all
it.
online stores.
You can't download it.
Can't download it. Even if you own it, you can't download it.
Yeah, you can't re-download it. And 2 people have redone it for the PC. They now work for Konami. Because they and you can't get them anymore. Silent Hills is, again, you're just walking around. You don't even have a flashlight until halfway through. And you're just walking through this house. You're trying to figure out what the hell is going on. And there's a lot of paranormal shit going on. And you find out that there was this father who killed his daughter and wife, and his wife's name's Lisa, and now Lisa is haunting this house. And you have to get her to haunt the house for you to escape. And every time you go through a door, you have to solve a puzzle. So if you don't solve the puzzle, you're just going to keep going in circles. Is very mindfucky, very scary, because at any time, it's totally random, Lisa will come up and kill you.
Okay. So, is this the best game that was never made?
It is the best game that was never made. It would have been the scariest game ever made, but it was never released. They were going to have Norman Reedus, I believe is his name.
Yeah,
the
Norman
actor.
Reedus. Yeah, they're going to have him play the main character.
Yep. They had
And Hideo Kojima left, and then Hideo was like, "Hey, Norman, come on over here. Do this other thing. It's all fucky do."
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, Death Stranding.
That's
If
right.
I beat
That's
it,
right.
I would have added it to my list, but I did beat it.
I still haven't played it.
Yeah.
Fine.
They had Kojima and Guillermo del Toro directing this game.
Guillermo del Toro.
Who I have to say
Guillermo. I don't know.
Gee.
who I have to say is one of my favorite directors.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's
of all
fantastic.
It's a great horror director, and it was set up to be such a great game, but it didn't do it. And
And they
I
just
like
canned
to
the whole thing.
they just fucking threw it out. And I like to think that this type of style of gameplay kind of like helped other games use that kind of, oh well, let's just scare the hell out of our fan base, you know. I know a lot of people think Amnesia is like the basis of all horror games, but Amnesia wasn't really that scary. PT scared the shit out of me. I had nightmares. Like, that game was scary.
Nice.
Wow. No, I mean that's a very controversial pick, I think.
Very controversial. You can't even get it anymore.
Yeah, actually, how much do you think a preloaded PS4 with the demo on it goes for nowadays?
Let me know, because I have one.
I don't. That's a good
I'll
question.
Google that right now. But Billy, do you want to do your number one?
Oh yeah, FIFA 2015. The FIFA. So what was my number one? I do have an honorable mention afterwards. However, this should be on everyone's at least top 10, and that's The Witcher 3.
Okay.
Very nice.
I should
A
need
very safe choice.
a safe choice. Also needs very little explaining.
Culture.
A man of culture. Was that for the FIFA comment? So that game, just for its sheer lifespan, like I put hundreds of hours into that game, and then I did the first story quest. You know, with all the side content and the multiple choice endings to a lot of quests, and the choices in those quests can kind of steer the ending of the game. And,
Very interesting.
and just tailor how the next part goes. And no, you know what? I hate Gwent. Jimbra says Billy likes playing Gwent. I hate Gwent. I could never figure it out. I always lost every time. And they even have a Gwent side game now. Like you can download it on your phone.
I'm more of a fan of Triple Triad myself, which again, another Final Fantasy reference for those who know. Yeah. If you know, you know.
Yep.
Also,
But
The Witcher is on Game Pass. So if you have Game Pass, you can play it for free.
I already own it.
Oh.
No.
Yeah, see, Witcher 3 was definitely something in consideration, but this is, I think, a personal stimulus thing for me. It was overwhelming. I feel like there's almost too much.
I didn't feel that way. I didn't get that.
Yeah.
I loved always having something more to do. My biggest thing about a lot of games in the past generation of consoles is that you would spend $60 on it, and you could finish it that day and be done.
Yeah, that sucks. Yeah.
That I hate the most. That's why a lot of the games on my list are these expansive games with long play hours.
And it's interesting because technically my top 3 even my top 4 could all probably be beaten in under 20 hours.
Well, yours have the replayability factor to it, so you can beat it, but then you can go back and do different things. And
well, the replayability of it, but also just the narrative. And truth be told, the narrative for The Witcher 3 wasn't as strong because it went so many directions all the time.
I mean, I liked it. To each their own. This is my list, not yours.
It's very true.
I just read Jimbray's comment. He's like, Pokemon Snap. I was hyped for months to be done in 30 minutes.
But can you name another game where you could print stickers at Blockbuster?
Right?
Oh,
checkmate. Checkmate.
With The Witcher, I always got sidetracked because I'm a loot whore. And I just kept looting things and selling it to the blacksmith. And then, like, that first area that you start in, there's a whole battlefield of dead people filled with swords. It took me forever to sell all that stuff.
And I mean, honestly, this might be just the weirdness of me. I much rather just read the books. Like, I could spend 900 hours on read all the books.
It's true. It's true.
Which is significantly less time. But yeah. All right.
So that's our top 5, right?
Yeah.
I do have an honorable mention.
Yeah,
Yes.
I have a couple of honorable mentions.
I just got one.
Okay, so you guys want to pitch out an honorable mention, Sturnzi?
Layers of Fear. I played it last night for the first time.
Is that what you were playing?
The same people. Yeah.
That was pretty good. It's hard to get me scared
hold
though, so
on,
I was just
hold
like, yep, and you're like, ah!
All right, so wait, back up. You played it for the first time last night,
Yes.
and it is your honorable mention.
Yes, and I beat it, I think it was in 4.5 hours. It's made by the same people who did Blair Witch. I didn't know that going in.
Okay.
So I played it. It's a psychological horror, whereas Blair Witch was PTSD. This is schizophrenia. So you
Okay, so it's similar to Senua Sacrifice then.
Yeah, I would say in some parts. Because like you can go into a room, and the whole room will be distorted. Shit will be going on. You have to solve the puzzle, whatever that puzzle is. If you watched last night, Billy, I didn't know what I was doing, and I freaking fumbled through the whole thing. But it was pretty good. It's pretty good.
It flows very nicely.
I definitely enjoyed it.
It's very seamless.
Yeah.
So Jimbra says, me trying to explain to my angry dad that a $60 game he bought us got beat in 30 minutes was difficult as a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
Well, that means you were just really good at the game, right? Because, like, you know, back in Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo, it was really kind of arcade mentality, right?
Yeah, basically.
So I don't see the downside of that.
Do you remember the Pokemon Snap get the best picture, win a trip to Australia?
No,
I think I recall that. I don't remember the details though.
It was a Blockbuster thing. You had to upload your best picture, and if it scored the highest out of all the Blockbusters, you win a Pokemon Safari in Australia. I don't think anybody won because I don't think anybody entered.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty excited for the next Pokemon Snap. I'm probably gonna, or I should rephrase. Nicole's probably gonna buy that, and I'm probably gonna play it.
Yes, you will.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So actually, just kind of a topic on us. You know, Sturney and I are clearly more okay with spending money on a game that might not take us long to beat.
Oh no, I'll still spend money on these games. Don't get me wrong. They just won't be my top favorite because of that.
The way I see it, you know, I'm an art guy on my Instagram, The War Room, if anyone's interested. I post a lot of art, particularly from like the 1800s to the 1900s. A great piece of art you will look at for several minutes, you know, before you kind of move on. And that's kind of how I see video games. You know, something like The Witcher to me is almost like a not a Jackson Pollock painting. Maybe that's the example. It's just kind of so much is going on. You're like, oh, kind of give up, move on.
I gotta say, I haven't been to a lot of art museums.
Because I bring class
they're
to
pretty
this
nice.
channel.
Okay. Do you have a shout out then?
A shout out or
Shout out.
honorable
Sorry,
mention?
not a shout out. Yeah, same thing.
An honorable mention.
Yeah.
I have two, but I'll go with one, and that's going to be God of War for PlayStation 4. I have played and beat every main installment of God of War since its release. I really love the spin-on mythology, and when I heard they were bringing it to Norse mythology, I got a little too happy, probably more than an adult man should.
Oh.
So, yeah, and I have to say, since you do that fight with is it Heimdall? I forget who the shirtless dude who you have a fist fight with in the mountains.
I don't know.
The guy that he's the.
Oh no, he's the guard. Yeah, he's the guardian keeper. Who am I thinking of? Why am I just drawing a blank to literally the most important antagonist of the game? Who is it? Is it
I don't know, man. I still don't own the new one.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. I didn't get around to it.
Balder. Balder.
Okay.
Balder. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry. I thought that was Heimdall. Yeah. Since that fight with Balder in the early parts of the game, literally to the end, I was so glued to my seat. I was actually late to work one day because I had to finish. I showed up to work 15 minutes late because I just had to see the ending because I knew I was there.
You came up with some bullshit excuse. Oh, my tire's a little flat. I gotta.
No, I was like, I literally had to beat God of War, and they were like, okay.
Oh, damn! Wow.
I literally had to beat this game.
I guess
I would
you're
be
fired.
instantly fired. I would be instantly fired. Show up to my work and then be like, "Oh, I just had to beat, like Breath of the Wild or something." They'd be like, "What the fuck are you smoking? Get out of here!"
Well, when you work in human services, you work with a lot of crazy people who are just as equally as crazy.
So
as
they
you.
they forgive other craziness.
Yeah, and I think really the progression of the character Kratos is kind of the big narrative for it. So, spoiler alert, if you've never played God of War, he kills his wife and daughter in rage, and he becomes the ghost of Sparta. Their dead ashes become why he's just so
White,
pasty
yeah.
white.
Yeah.
And he, after the whole conflict with the Greek pantheon, he ends up in Midgar. And he finds another woman that he loves. They have another child, and it starts with you building a funeral pyre for this said woman, and you have to make this journey to spread her ashes on the highest mountain in the realm. I think that's the request, and just the journey, the progression, the character development of this guy who is literally just a mass murderer to honestly becoming a kind of redeeming himself after it took 4 fucking games. But you feel like almost to an extent he's at peace. He almost smiles sometimes. It's wow. And honestly, when you go from they
basically humanize him a bit from being like.
And spoiler alert, when you go from the axe to eventually getting the Blades of Chaos again, goosebumps. I literally got silvery-eyed and I got goosebumps.
Oh wow!
For it, because I was like, dude, oh my god, and I never used that fucking axe again. Let me tell you, it was all Blades of Chaos all the time. I never did go ahead and beat the Valkyries and stuff like that. I kind of just did the story and I was like, okay, I'm done with this. Great game though. If there's ever a game you need to just beat before you get a PS5, it's 110 million% that game.
Wow. Jimbra, true story. I beat 1 and 2 the first time I sat down to play both start to finish, no stopping.
That's a decent amount of time.
I mean,
That's a day.
how long ago did you play them when they came out, or like a week ago? Because if you play them when they came out, you're probably younger. You probably had that kind of time to just sit down and go. Woo-hoo.
And I
energy.
literally actually have to say, like, the order of the latest releases are the best one. So, like...
Not back to back, he says.
Not back.
Oh,
to
not...
back. Okay.
Okay, I was going to say, Jesus.
Are you
Jesus, buddy.
dead body?
Yeah. Are you a dead body? I got to report you.
Oh man.
But yeah. So I would say 4 is the best. 3 is the second best. Second and then first. So they're getting better every time. And I have to say, the only thing that might entice me to buy a PS5 is when they announce God of War 2, or they're going to call it 6, or whatever they're going to call it. I might, literally just go, fine.
It's gonna happen.
Which gods do you
It's gonna
think he'd kill?
He definitely has to kill Thor.
Okay.
Thor, I think, is going to be the end boss of the next game, because there's a potential spoiler.
Okay. He's going after Jesus.
There's a secret ending. Actually, I didn't know this, but when I posted on Facebook God of War, someone was like, "Do this," and I was like, "Okay," because if you go back to your house after you beat the game, you get a secret ending, and it basically confirms Thor is the main villain of the next one.
But Thor is such a
Holy
nice
shit.
guy. Everybody loves Thor.
Everybody loves Thunder and Lightning.
I know Marvel's Thor is great, but
That's probably the only one, right? Nice. Okay. Good honorable mention.
What about you, Billy? Do you have an honorable mention?
I do.
It's
It's a bit of a cheat because it's a port of a game that came out previous gen. However, they ported it into VR, which, oh boy, yeah. Skyrim VR, man.
Very nice.
Okay, thumbs down that all you want. I know. No, let's. Why thumbs down?
have I done my Skyrim rant to you yet? On why your character is the dumbest person in all of the entire world?
No.
And why I physically can't get immersed in the setting because my character is so fucking stupid.
All right, let me hear this.
That's not
Alright.
a current gen game.
All right, so we're
Calling us out. He's calling you out.
I know, pretty much.
Yep.
But so, literally in every single Elder Scrolls game, including Elder Scrolls Online, you can have a weapon, you can have a shield. Do you know how shields are equipped in Billy?
I don't know. You tell me.
All right. So typically, you have one or two leathers attached to you, and you have a handle to hold, so you can best, kind of manipulate the blow.
Is this with
So
spells?
So every single character in the world, except for your character in Skyrim, can take his hand off the handle, cast a spell.
Right. I see what you're saying.
The character in Skyrim cannot. He has to literally throw his shield on the fucking ground.
Then
do
equip
something.
a spell into that hand to use it, right?
I hate it. It literally
That's
is.
really that one gameplay mechanic fucks
What?
you.
It's true. My character is too dumb.
It takes him out of the immersion.
It does.
Standards,
as you
man.
will.
You got standards.
Literally, all they had to do to fix the game is make dual wield a trait you buy in the stars.
Wow. Okay. All right.
It would have fixed everything.
So the reason why I liked it as an honorable mention has nothing to do with that, or even the gameplay mechanics of using a bow or a sword or anything like that. It's more of the expanse of the setting. Very beautiful already. Lots to do, lots of places to go, but mostly just the scenery. Putting that into a VR, it's very pretty.
Very party.
It's pretty. I could touch
Well,
the stars
there's-
with my VR remote
Let me
and shoot a
tell you
fireball
something,
at it.
though. You can be in Skyrim on Elder Scrolls Online and not play a character that's so dumb he doesn't realize he can do this.
But you can't do it in VR. That's why it's in my honorable mention, because it's VR. Notice I didn't mention the collector's edition, which is not VR. I mentioned the VR version. I'm honorable mentioning the VR version.
And as we all know, VR means for very real.
Very real. Skyrim.
Oh my goodness. We're hitting the hour and a half mark, but I'm having such a good conversation. You know, it's so unfortunate.
Oh man,
It's kind of coming to an end. Does anyone else have another honorable mention? I
just
technically
popped
got
in the one.
more.
I popped in the one. You can throw in another if you want.
If I was to pop in another, I would say Fallout 4 Far Harbor. Specifically Far Harbor, because that expansion, like playing Fallout 4, I was like, okay, this is very, like, go to this place,
Rinse
do
and
this
repeat.
thing, go back to the place. Very like
Another settlement
farming.
needs your help.
Exactly. But when I got to Far Harbor, it was totally different. I felt like I was playing New Vegas again.
Yeah, they
And
learned
except-
from the initial game basically being too rinse repeat, right?
Yeah, and I thought that the story that was in Far Harbor was very good with the children of Adam, and then the residents, and then the synths up on the hill.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a pretty cool concept. How you can wipe out 2, or you can wipe out 1, or you can have them all live peacefully, or you can totally decide what happens.
So is this like an expansion, or is it a separate game, kind of like New Vegas was to 3?
It is an expansion to Fallout 4.
Because I feel like when New Vegas came out, everyone kind of forgot about Fallout 3.
I did, yes.
So I was like, is this... Because I didn't super care for Fallout either. But I've heard great things about New Harbor, so
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'll go check it out.
If you already own like the Game of the Year edition or something, and you haven't checked it out, definitely do it. I wouldn't waste like $20 on it. If it's like $5 or $3, go for it. But if it's like $20, wait, because the whole Game of the Year version's $20. So.
Oh wow.
Fair. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Billy, do we want to maybe talk about what we're gonna do, or come up with a decision what we're gonna do for next Fireside Chat? Because this was fun.
You wanted to talk about another movie.
I did. That was one option. The question is, are you willing to dive into 6 hours of Bollywood?
I don't know if I can handle it. I don't have enough knowledge behind
Handle
that.
it. That would be fun. Handle it.
So
Bollywood?
I feel like I'm gonna be the
So-
one coming in like as
all right.
not
So
knowing anything.
what are I know Saturday's Halloween. I'm guessing you're busy Halloween, right?
Yeah.
Are you going to be busy the following Sunday?
Yes.
Oh damn. 'Cause
Yeah, I
was
got
gonna
a
say,
busy weekend.
All right, maybe we shouldn't do movies then, unless you really think you can watch and absorb it.
I've already watched the first one.
Oh, did you actually?
Yeah, I watched the first.
Oh, the second one. The second one is The Chef's Kiss.
The
I will tell
Chef's
you.
Kiss.
It is The Chef's Kiss
Okay.
because it went from being a goofy Bollywood movie to like the best movie I've watched all year.
Do we want to fill in Sturnzi what the hell we're talking about? He looks
So,
a little like what?
Have you heard of Bahubali?
Bahubali.
What? Gubali.
Bahubali.
I'll type
Bahubali.
in the chat.
Yeah.
Oh, Mariah says yes, hell yes, because it is such a good movie. So I just typed it in the chat. It is on Netflix. It's in like 3 different languages. It doesn't really matter what language you watch it. I think the primary language is Telugu.
Okay.
So it is, again, it's the best movie I watched all year. Like I can't, like I know my choices are slim pickings, but it's on Netflix.
Bahubali.
There's
Yeah.
2 movies. There's the beginning and the conclusion.
That's literally what it's called.
So they're about Lord of the Rings length. That's the challenge.
Oh man,
you
I can't see
can't-
that at all.
No,
But I think you got it. I think
no.
you got it.
And literally, I also have the soundtrack on my phone.
It's a guy who's obviously ripped, and he's holding up this stone nipple.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's right. That's right.
That
I'm
is
actually surprised.
fantastic.
So you only have to watch the second one then, technically.
Well,
What,
no,
is
he's
that
just
whole
looking up the
purpose
art. He
of
hasn't
first
seen
one?
it.
Yeah.
Or are you talking about me?
I'm talking about you.
Oh yeah. I only need to watch the second one.
The second one. So literally, the battle at the end of the first one and the first battle of the second movie are honestly like on Helm's Deep level or like Battle of Hoth level, and I'm not even joking.
Really?
The battle scenes are fucking nuts.
Oh my god, I love it.
Watch it. Just watch
I'm gonna
Bahubali.
watch it, yeah.
You need good. So next Fireside Chat, do you want to?
All right, let's do it.
You want to do Bahubali? The third person will do is someone who's watched it.
Okay, who's watched it?
I know Mariah's watched it. I know Brett has watched it.
Ooh.
Chicken Nuggets has watched it.
Well, that's Mariah.
Yeah.
We'll have them duke it out. See who wants to be our third.
Yep, whoever can evaluate and break down film better. But I will tell you, you will not regret it. So let me describe. So,
Oh, okay.
Sturnzi, have you ever watched Bollywood movies before? Like, you probably have seen GIFs. Have you ever sat down to watch a Bollywood movie?
With its ridiculous physics and acting and dancing.
I've watched like clips in every time.
See,
I
I'm
cry
not
laughing.
I'm not talking about clips. I'm like, have you ever sat watch a
Not in a very long time.
big difference? So one there's a lot of culture shock to it. So particularly for Bahubali, there's a lot of Hinduism belief to the story and how they tell it. There's also random song and dance scenes, like almost picture like it's Lord of the Rings, but they have Disney songs like randomly filtered into it.
Typical
And
Bollywood.
I will tell you, I'm officially giving the soundtrack prior to the review. The soundtrack for the first movie, at least, is litty titty.
I love it. You know what? Bollywood soundtracks are amazing and they're underrated, and I love them.
However, the second movie is probably like it's so good. It's so good. Like the first one is to set up the second movie, and I don't want to say the first movie is bad or not entertaining because it totally is. But the second movie, you're just like, oh my god, I'm so ready for this, yeah.
Oh.
Pretty much. So I guess next Fireside Chat, we're gonna discuss Bahubali.
All right. So I guess that'll do it for this Fireside Chat. Very special thank you to Sturnzi from Sturnzi Gaming. Follow him on Twitch if you haven't already. Truly chill guy, awesome streamer. There he is in the chat.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, follow Table Troop if you haven't already.
Oh yes, give us a follow too. Send us bits, send us subs, send us all that money.
All right, give us all your money because your money is now our money.
Yes, it is our money. Everything goes towards the stream though, of course. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
New cheer. Oh, from Sturnzi Gaming. All right, so thanks everyone for stopping in.
So again, if anyone's following along, we're reviewing a Bahubali on Netflix.
Yes.
So if anybody wants to watch it and join the review, I highly recommend it. I guarantee not a single person will not find some sort of entertainment value in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
So please give it a watch. Please join us. It's gonna be so much fun.
Yep.
It's Bollywood's best.
Yep. Next Monday,
Spoiler.
7 p.m. Be there. Or don't, Thanks very much.
All right,
See ya.
Yeah, everyone have a good
Thank
night.
you for having me. Yeah, you
Yes.
guys have a great night. Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye now.
Peace.